Hi everyone, Callie here. Today I want to open up something a little bit different than Pokemon. I've got this Japanese starter deck for Kaido for the One Piece card game. This will be coming out in English coming in December, but I'm really excited to be able to open this today. I've actually been having a lot of fun with this game so far. Recently, I went to one of my local game stores, got this cool little demo deck for Luffy here, and it's just been a blast to play with. A lot of really cool looking cards in the set, even just in the starter decks. Thought it'd be fun to open up one of these Japanese starter decks here. I've actually been playing a lot with this Kaido proxy deck. You can see here it's got sample on it. I just really print these out, put a Pokemon card behind it to keep it a little bit more stable. It's just an energy card, and I've been playing with that a lot. It's just a lot of fun. This is probably my favorite of all the starter decks. Probably open up some of the other ones. I actually got a couple of the Japanese ones, but today we'll look at Kaido. So when you open it up, you can see there some great looking cards. Again, like look at that Kaido compared to this little proxy one that I kind of printed out. So much shinier. But let's just kind of get these out and take a look at them. Put King off there to the side there for a second. Just look at that Kaido. Looks really cool. Here we'll kind of open this up a little bit, talk about some of the cards. Something I really like about this deck is it just does a lot to kind of manipulate your Dawn. It's kind of like a mana system if you're familiar with Magic at all. I guess maybe a little bit more like Hearthstone because you get some Dawn every single turn. Kind of similar with Hearthstone where you always get a mana. But he kind of can accelerate a little bit. He sets himself back a little bit. Kaido here's got his main ability actually is one way that he manipulates Dawn for -7 of your Dawn. So basically if you take 7 of them and put them back into your deck, so basically getting rid of 7 of your mana, he can actually get rid of 1 of your opponent's life points. Gets them a little bit closer to losing the game. And something about this game specifically, normally when you lose a life, you actually get to draw a card from that, since your life pool are cards that you set aside. So it's actually a great way to not only deny your opponent a resource, but get them a little bit closer to being dead. Also have another Kaido in here. This is just a character that he can play, put on his board there. This one's a really strong card, costs a lot at 9. Allows you to do Dawn -5 when you play it, destroy a cost creature of 6 or less, and then he also gets Rush, which, similar to Charge or anything else in other kind of games, lets him just attack immediately after you play him. Very strong card, great way to kind of finish out a game. If somebody puts up a blocker or something like that to be able to stop him, really difficult to stop this Kaido here. The foiling again just looks really, really cool there. Get 2 Kaidos in here. Queen is another cool card. Queen is actually a blocker. That's what that little orange there means. Then if you equip 1 Dawn on him as well, or maybe it's Dawn -1. I actually can't quite remember. I'm going to put it up here so you can kind of see it. Allows you to then draw 2 cards and put 1 of those cards in your discard pile from your any of the cards in your hand. So it's actually a really powerful ability. Nice, pretty powerful blocker at 6,000 that also lets you get through your deck a little bit more. You get a couple of those queens here. Got Jack as well. Jack is one of the ways to kind of accelerate your Dawn a little bit. When you play him, you can get an extra Dawn once he comes out. Usually 2 copies of most of these. Who's Who is another really good card. Actually, probably pretty powerful against the Kid deck in particular. This lets you go Dawn -1, and then you can kill a creature on your opponent's field that costs 3 or less. I actually don't remember what this card. I think it's called All-Star Calamities, maybe, if I can remember right. But this is one that lets you draw a card and also accelerate a Dawn as well. So you get 1 extra Dawn that's set as active. So it kind of refunds its cost of 1 by 1 a little bit. Also lets you draw a card. If you trigger this, I believe it lets you trigger the main ability for this card. So pretty good if basically if you take damage and this happens to be the life card. you get to draw a card and get an extra Dawn. I believe that's what that does. And I'll kind of have that up to kind of show. Actually, don't remember what the name of this card is, but this is a way to kill some of your opponent's cards. It's got that cool art there. Got Queen kind of smashing into Big Mom. But this lets you kill one of your opponent's cards. Think of it, they cost 6 or less, or maybe it's 6,000 power or less. I can't quite remember. And then its trigger, I believe, it lets you get an active Dawn. I think the main ability might do that as well. This is Blast Breath. It's a good way to kind of play reactively against your opponent when they're attacking you. Lets you buff up your power on one character by 4,000. In exchange, though, you do have to pay the 1 cost and then go Dawn -1. But good way to make sure you can prevent some damage or save a really important one of your cards. Pretty good one for this starter deck here. You do get 4 of those. Then you've got Onigashima. This is a great way to kind of accelerate a little bit. It does cost 3, but then you can tap it each turn and get a Dawn from your Dawn deck set to inactive. So kind of a good way that maybe if you use a Dawn -1, then you can tap this, get that back. So you didn't really lose that Dawn there. A nice way to kind of counteract some of Kaido's abilities and creatures in this deck. You get 4 of those. Sometimes you do find your hand a little clogged with some of these, I found, when you play them, but still a pretty fun card, especially for the starter decks. Well, that's just your first half. These are just your Dawn. So again, these are kind of like your mana cards type thing. You get 2 of these per turn. It's really that half of the deck. This other half, though, you take a look at this. We got King here. The cool foil card there. That just looks really awesome. King, I can't quite remember the effect. Pretty sure you have to go maybe Dawn -3 or something when you play him. I'll have to, again, throw that one up there. But you do something, I'm pretty sure, after you play him, like Dawn -3 or something like that, and then it lets you kill one of your opponent's cards. I think up to cost 5. I can see it on there. Oh no, I think it's Dawn -1, actually. Yeah, Dawn -1 for that one, and then up to a cost 4. So a great way to kind of get a lot of tempo on the board, play this for 6. He's got 7,000 power. You go Dawn -1, kill a creature. It's a really good way to kind of hopefully take control of the board or get you in an even better position if you're already ahead. Really, really love this card. Next up, you've got Ulti here. Ulti actually teams up with her brother in this. We'll look at him in a second. She's decently powerful on herself. Cost 4 for 5,000. But for her ability, you can go Dawn -1 when you play her. And if you've got her brother page 1, when you play Ulti, then again, when you Dawn -1, you actually get to play him for free. So kind of an amazing play. If you can manage that on turn 2, if you're going second, or turn 3, if you're going first, you're getting these 2 cards on the board just for very little cost. It's a pretty crazy play when you're able to get that to go off, especially just against the starter decks anyway. You get 4 of those. Next up, you've got Sasaki, lets you go Dawn -1 to draw a card. Not super flashy or anything. He's doesn't have the greatest power, but it is a good way to kind of dig through the deck a little bit for not too much of a setback, especially if you've got that Onigashima in play. Lets you get that mana back, or Dawn back, rather, just to draw a card there and still get a body on the board, so not a bad card. Sheep's Head, just a basic here, 2 costs for 4,000. He can also block for you as well, or add to a blocker's power, rather, or really anybody's power that's being attacked to help them survive. Not an amazing card or anything, but nice little thing for a starter deck. Jin Rummy is really one of the few 1-drops in this deck. I think it might even be the only 1-drop in this deck. Again, just another basic. 1 cost, 3,000. Can give plus 1,000 there for helping to keep somebody alive, but otherwise, that's really all she does. Black Maria is actually one of the few blockers in the deck. Queen is the only other one. She is a 2-cost blocker for you here. Not really going to survive very many attacks, but a nice cheap way to help you block an attack. I already talked about page 1 a little bit. He's otherwise just a generic 4 costs for 6, so nothing super interesting. I do like this art on X Drake here. Drake is another just basic, cost 3 for 5,000. Decent again for a starter deck. And he's got that plus 1000 again as well. And that's just the Kaido deck. Quick little look at it. As I said before, this is probably my favorite of all the starter decks. I just really love how it's kind of like manipulating its Dawn. Kind of got that risk versus reward of when you're going to go plus some Dawn or minus some Dawn. Sometimes you want to be a little risky in how you play that to maybe accelerate and get something out really fast. And other times that can kind of screw you over if you are going up against something really fast, like the Kid deck, or something very consistent, like the Kid deck, which can just kind of overrun you if you don't manage to keep up with its tempo. But yeah, anyway, that's about it. Just thought I would kind of showcase this a little bit. I really can't wait until this comes out. I'm looking forward to the pre-release events that are coming up in kind of late September, early October. Can't wait to hopefully do some more of this.